Welcome to AnimeCons TV. We're your source for reports, discussion, tips, tricks, and all sorts of other things related to anime conventions and fan conventions. I'm TB15000, better known as Doug Wilder, and at the end of every month, AnimeCons TV spends an entire episode responding to your questions, comments, feedback, all that sort of stuff. Everything from Facebook to YouTube, we got it all. Let's start off with Facebook. Ruben responded to last month's feedback episode, and he just wrote a heart emoji. So I guess he liked that thumbnail. But, you know, the screenshots we put together are usually sometimes auto-generated by whatever program we're using for video editing. Sometimes we just find something that's really fun and go with it from there. Sometimes we've had some really interesting results, so that's a good one. Next up, the former chair of Providence Anime Conference, John, responded to our Providence Anime Conference episode saying, "I'm not sure I want to watch this. Summary, we anticipated a lot of problems, and in trying to address them proactively, we created more problems." Yeah. That's kind of true. And Eric responded with just an image that is someone saying, "I'm going to need a lot of booze to handle this language." Christopher also responded to that episode. I guess this was a popular one to talk about. I remember I was going to go to that, and for whatever reason, money, depression, something, I just didn't go. I actually forgot that this was a thing that happened. Yeah, Pac was a weird animal. I wish I could have been at Patrick's panel about it at Anime Boston this past year, but unfortunately I had a schedule conflict, so I couldn't make that panel. But one of the reasons why we like talking about this stuff and we like going to this is it's really neat to look at kind of the history of fandom culture and see how things evolve, see the lessons we can learn from both successful events and sometimes spectacular failures. It's really interesting, and kind of one of the reasons that we decided it is worth talking about is to kind of keep the record alive so people can remember about it and look back at it. Next up, we got an email from James the Dark Kiba. He writes, "Dear AnimeCons TV, hello and long time no see. I've been watching your videos and found a few of them to be either entertaining or helpful. I love Doug's video on making a great panel title and the description, as well as the con report on Anime Boston done by Sketch, Shiva, and Elizabeth. You'll all be happy to know that I'll be attending Anime Boston next year, and I already love the theme for that year's convention. I hope that we can meet in person this time. I did my own con report on KawaiiCon from Oahu, Hawaii, from this year, and you can find it on my blog at the Dragon's Bazaar and WordPress. Please check it out." Well, Dark Kiba, he actually had to know that he's going by the White Kiba now, but regardless, first off, we're glad you like the panel title and description things. It's something that I keep seeing more and more of a challenge, and I'm glad to see people are starting to take lessons from it and things like that. It's a fun subject. I like talking about it, and it's one I'm obviously very passionate about. And we're excited that not only you liked our report from Anime Boston, but that you're going to be attending. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out for us. I know I'll definitely be going again. It's our hometown convention. I met both Patrick and Elizabeth because I was on staff at Anime Boston, and that's how I got to know the rest of the podcast crew and stuff like that. So it means a lot to us, and we're glad to see you're excited. So definitely keep an eye out for us. If you see us in the hallway, don't forget to say hi, introduce yourself. We'd love to meet you. He also adds just a little PS. He says, "I'm a little confused. I thought that you guys were going to be doing the feedback episodes at the beginning of each month. But since the start of the new year, you guys have gone back to doing them at the end of the month. What changed that you'd be going back to this particular format from years past?" Honestly, it just worked better for scheduling. But it's also kind of neat that all the feedback episodes fall on multiples of 4. It's just kind of a fun thing. But really, it was just scheduling. On YouTube, Shigete Media replied to our Anime Boston report saying, "Awesome report, guys. This year marked my 10th year going to AB, and it was awesome. I had some minor roommate trauma that was settled after the con. I'm sad that I didn't get to bump into you guys and say hi. Sketch and Shiva, maybe next year? I have met Doug last year, and I think he's a cool dude. Shout out to Doug. See everyone next year." Well, glad you got to meet me. Yeah, we're a little busy during Anime Boston, so of course, Sketch and Shiva also, made a human, so they got a little busy. They couldn't do as much at the con this year. But I'm glad that your roommate drama got resolved, and it can be a really tough issue. I mean, maybe that's something we can look into down the road for another episode. I know we've had a little bit of don't be that guy for things like that for roommate stuff, but we can definitely go back into it and send us a note. Let us know. You don't have to get into the very specifics, but tell us like a little bit of idea what the drama is, and maybe we can give you some ideas for how to address that down the road. And again, glad you got to meet us and everything like that. Also, in our Providence Anime conference episode on YouTube, Ashito Marisu wrote, "I cannot believe that Sanagawa project in Pittsburgh was inspired by PAC. That is astonishing." That's what one of their staffers told us, which that's pretty cool. Again, I was part of the planning process for PAC, and it's something that we think that even though the con itself didn't succeed, there were some cool lessons. Trey Dorm wrote, "I love hearing stories like this. I mean, I don't love that it failed, but I knew that it failed, so I love hearing what went wrong or something. Don't judge me." No judgment here whatsoever. I mean, again, we like talking about kind of the history of fan culture and things like this. So there's a lot of neat stuff there. And yeah, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. Sparrow779 wrote, "This was a really interesting to hear about. I would love to see more cons do some of the academic panels and stuff. Things like that seem to get drowned out by more stereotypical fan panels. Ask a character, Cosplay 101, Fandom X versus Fandom Y, or get super oddball time slots that, like really late at night when everyone is drunk or wants to talk hentai, or up against super big main events." Well, Sparrow, I'm going to tell you two things. First off, if you're up against a main event, that's kind of hard to do, and not everyone wants to go to those main events, so having quality programming counter to that can be a good thing. As far as seeing more conventions do that, first off, the conventions you go to, most of them ask for feedback. Let them know, hey, we want to see more academic panels. I think we are seeing some cons evolve into this. Anime Boston, which of course was closely affiliated with Providence Anime Conference, started an academic track. It's a lot of the fifth floor of the Sheridan at Anime Boston is more academic programming, things like that. I don't think there's as many 21 plus conventions, things like that, but other cons are experimenting with this. So one of the other things you're seeing more and more now are people like our friend of the pod, Charles Dunbar, who does a lot more academic panels, and other guests like Vega and things like that. We're seeing featured panelists at conventions where people are really driving home that these are people who are really researching their topics, really going into the deeper details and things like that. So it goes from there. So, but if you want to see more, like conventions know, there's always an opportunity to do that. And also, by the same token, if that stuff interests you, when you're going to a convention and you see academic programming on the schedule, make sure you're going to that, because that's one of the things these conventions look at, is they look for how well attended academic panels are, and if they see that they're being well attended, they're going to get more, give it more attention and things like that. If they have an academic panel and only 2 people show up in a 100-seat room, they might not do it again. So make sure if these panels interest you, you're going to them, and maybe if you have a friend that also might be interested, let them know about it too. That way you can get it some support. Alright, wow. And now finally, we actually have a voicemail.
dear sir or madam. I'm calling to defend the honor of movie phone guy. That guy being me. 'Tis I whose honor you have besmirched. Should I prank you? You will definitely know. Also, I'm super sorry I haven't called in a while. I've been really busy and don't generally have a good excuse. I'm a bad movie phone. Thanks for making cool shows. Talk to you later.
Yeah, you are a bad movie phone, but you're still our friend. I hope whatever is keeping you busy doesn't keep you too busy, and it doesn't make you crazy. Well, crazier. And yeah, I don't know if my honor is being besmirched or your honor is being besmirched, but I think there's a smirch begun you can take care of that. But right now, let's take a look at all the conventions that are coming up through July 2018 as found on fancons.com. Alright, well, coming up in the next month on AnimeCons TV, Elizabeth is going to talk some more about sewing patterns. And I'm going to be doing my report from AnimeNEXT. Speaking of AnimeNEXT, don't forget that if you're attending, you can check out AnimeCons TV live. I can now tell you that in addition to Vince Avarello, the convention chair, our other two guests are going to be Lauren and John from Gunpla 101. So that's exciting. They're really fun people, and I'm looking forward to having them as part of that panel. Don't forget that if you want to possibly submit some questions for that panel that we'll ask the panelists, you can send them to podcast@animecons.tv no later than June 5th with the subject line ACTV Live Questions. Once again, if you want to send some questions in for the panel, send it to podcast@animecons.tv with the subject line ACTV Live Questions no later than June 5th. And once again, if you're going to AnimeNEXT, please check out our live event. We're going to love to have people come by and support us. And let's see, new episodes are going to be every Monday as usual on 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We post about them on Facebook, on Twitter, so all you have to do is share or retweet those links or share our YouTube video. And don't forget that telling your friends about us is such an easy thing to do. It's free, and it really helps us get the word out. And con season is about to hit full swing. In summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, you see lots of cons. So we love hearing from our viewers, and we need to hear from you before our next feedback episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment on our videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We've made it to 968 subscribers as the moment of this recording, so we're only 32 away from 1,000. Even if you don't normally watch us on YouTube, please drop by and give us another subscriber to get us help up to that 1,000 milestone. Even though Movie Phone called, we haven't had many voicemails in a while. Why not give us a call, or you can even text that number. The number is 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. Maybe you want to put it in your phone, save it, That way, if you're at a convention, see something really cool, and you want to make sure you mention it to us, you can give us a call, give us a text right away, let us know about it. And don't forget that you can always use good old-fashioned email. The email address is podcast@AnimeCons.tv. And you can subscribe for us for free to get the new episodes on every Monday. You can, of course, search for AnimeCons TV on YouTube. Subscribe to us on iTunes at itunes.animecons.tv, or watch us on our site, animecons.tv, or get the free AnimeCons TV app for Apple TV and watch all our episodes there. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @Nigoki. That's Nigoki. And yeah, I'm all over the place, but that's the best place to do it. I try and respond to everyone that goes there. I recently had a fun discussion with a bunch of people about the classic Mythware messenger bags that everyone seemed to have at AnimeCons for a very specific point in time. So once again, my Twitter handle is @Nigoki. And that's all we have time for, so we'll see you next week. And once again, if you're going to AnimeNEXT, don't forget to check out the AnimeCons TV live panel. Thanks.